Well, good afternoon, everybody, or good evening, depending on where you are listening to us. Andrew and I are back, and we're going to talk finance. Specifically, we're talking precious metals, gold and silver, what's happening. We're going to talk about the latest events, latest news, and most importantly, what we continue to expect to happen in the precious metal space. So again, today is May 20th, and my good friend here, Andrew Sorcini, welcome.
Oh, thanks for having me, Bo. It's we've been on a wild ride in 2026, but I think we're ready to start heading straight up again here soon.
I want to start off by talking about years past, okay? So those who have been listening to us, and whether you've purchased precious metals or not, if you've been listening, what have we been saying, okay? Silver is going to go up in price. And have we been right or wrong? Not only right, we've been 1,000% right, okay? Because we started saying this at $18, $15, if I'm something like that, not maybe lower, but at least at $15 to $18. And today, as we speak, last I checked, silver is what at, what is it, $75, $74, $75, $76 right now as we speak, okay? So silver is done, at least if you were getting into precious metals and you bought silver, and silver at like $20, it's not that much. It's like a couple cups of coffee at the time, you know what I'm saying? And right now, if you bought it at 20, today's at 75 plus spread. You ain't buying it for 75. You're probably buying it for maybe Andrew would know better, probably somewhere around $85, I'm guessing, just based on spreads. Because what happens is, as silver begins to go up, several things increase. The spread increases. So in other words, when silver was at $20, you could buy silver, like get it in your hand for about $2, maybe $3 above the price. So it was at $20 and you could probably buy for 22, maybe something like that. And now that it's at 75, you need to spend probably between $7 and $10 to get it in your hand. So the spread is increasing. And this is not Andrew or the gold dealers. This is just industry-wide on how it works. And then the other thing that happens is volatility, okay? So when Andrew and I would speak years ago, we would say, hey, what a great day on silver. It went up 70 cents today. Like, we're laughing right now because this was true. It's like a great day on silver was 70 cents. Man, if it did $1, holy mackerel, right? And an average day was like 20 cents, okay? So this was the volatility. It moved 20 cents, 10 cents, 15 cents. And now we're seeing volatility of days that are $3, $5, $2. On a day where it barely moves, it's 50 cents, okay? Most days are like $2 to $5 days. We're seeing this up and down price movement, okay? So expand upon if that's correct, Andrew, and why that's happening.
Well, it's what we're seeing is, the days of me having like 100,000 ounces of silver in our inventory, or I don't do it anymore because we are seeing that big volatility. And the reason that we can see silver move $5, $6, $7 in a single day is because silver is constantly flirting with $100 an ounce. It's been as high as $121 an ounce. Last week, it was just a few cents away from being $90 an ounce. So we're seeing a big swing from silver hitting as high as 90 and then going to the low $70 range. So I don't recommend that most people out there try to time the market when they invest in silver. I mean, if you have the time to do it, great, do it. But most of us are busy with family and running businesses or working at our job, and it's a full-time thing. If you just stack silver as time goes on, just get what you can, investments here and there, and you're just doing dollar cost averaging that way. I think that that's the best way to kind of get around that big volatility. But the higher silver goes, and now I really see this, if silver gets to say $250 an ounce, we're going to see days where silver could potentially move up or down $15, $20 an ounce like it's nothing.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And so this is the point I'm trying to make, okay? So when Andrew and I would talk, we're like, man, people were like, first off, we said silver's going to blow through $50. People thought we were crazy because it's never done that before. But before we even got there, we were talking numbers like, well, hey, this is pretty exciting because silver finally broke through $25. Remember those conversations?
Oh, yeah.
And then it finally broke through 25, only to go to 30. And then it come back down and test 25. And it would do that. 30, 25, 30, 25, right? And finally it broke through 30 and it went to 35, and then from 35 to 30. And then it went to 40, and it went from 40 to 35 or 33, but it's a range. So it went from like a $2, $5 range to an $8 range, and now we're in a $20 range. Andrew just told you, it's from 90-ish, almost 90, down to the low 70s, high 60s, okay? So we're in a range of $20 now, okay? So the range is increasing, and what happens and again, silver is going to go through $100 again. I don't care what anybody says. People thought that, Andrew and I were ridiculous saying that silver is going to go through 50, okay? And it did. Not only we were right, it went to $121, and even as we speak, it's not going back down to 30 or 20 bucks again, okay? So it's range bound right now, and the next thing after the range ends, it's going to break through 90 and then take off, okay? That's what's coming next. We'll talk about that in a second, but when it breaks through $121, then Andrew's right. It might go to 200 and come back and test 150. See what I'm saying? So now it's ranging at $200 to $150. It's no longer a $20 range, it's a $50 range, okay? And so this is what's coming. This year, 2026, is going to be epic. This is not even my opinion anymore, because we were talking about this years ago about a wealth transfer and silver taking off. Now we've been proven right. All that's not happened yet, is the wealth transfer. That literally means the definition of wealth transfer is very simple at this point. It's silver exploding through $121, okay? Until that happens, there's no wealth transfer, okay? The explosion through $121 is the wealth transfer, because those that control the financial system don't want it to happen, okay? And it's going to. You can't stop it. It's going to happen because it's prophecy. So it's coming. It's just a matter of when. But regardless, like Andrew said, I think it was 2-3 years ago, I was hoping that silver might have broken through $50 a couple of years ago, and it never did. Does that make me wrong or just early? You get what I'm saying? You see, so when it comes to prophecy and biblical timing, being on the right side of history is all that matters. Whether you're one day, you just don't want to be one day late. You can be 2 years early, but don't be one day late, because when the explosion happens, forget about it. And this is the point Andrew just said. It's not a dollar cost average. Like if you bought silver at $21, at $18, or $25, do you care today? So that's the point about it. As long as you're positioned and then you wait. So talk about like spreads, Andrew, like, the range, because I think that's what you're saying between 90 and 70s, and how volatility will increase. But then expand upon like dollar cost average and just position yourself and wait, because that's the essence of all of this, isn't it? When people call you, right?
It is. It's like, I think with any type of investing, it's the patience that truly pays off. Like here's an example, like in stocks, a little over a year ago, I jumped into that Palantir stock. I bought it for like $40 a share, and I bought a lot of them. And it got to the point where it would explode for like $10 a share in a single day. That's like a 25% gain off of my initial investment, but it was patience where that paid off. Now, fast forward to silver. I've got people that bought silver from us with the actual spread. So let's say that silver was $15 an ounce, and it cost them like say $17 or $18 an ounce to buy all the silver that they got. Well, if they're in at $18 an ounce and we've seen silver go up $6 in a single day, that's like 33% gain on their initial investment. And that's why I try not to let the bad days or the bad weeks or even the bad months discourage me. So when I approach any investment, I just want to make sure that it's solid, that I truly believe that silver or whatever it is going to go much higher. So I'm not too focused on what I'm getting in at. So if you think that silver could get to $121 an ounce again, then you should be investing in silver right now, because it's sitting at like $76 and change. Now, if silver were to close over $121 an ounce again, the likelihood of it blasting off and shooting straight toward 200 for 1 ounce are very, very, very high. So at that point,
because of computers and algorithms, correct?
Yeah, it's there's just going to be a heavy amount of trading. There's literally big trading firms out there that have access to these algorithms, or they've got these programs running, and it's their job to see that silver's running up. They're going to see it run up. They're not going to really care that it, like, what that reason is, and they're just going to jump in on paper silver, which is connected to the physical silver market, and it's just going to blast off. And what I really like about what's happening now is that like any news story, you're going to have people on each side of it. Like, one person will make a prediction, the other person will say, oh, that's never going to happen. Well, I see a lot of articles, people saying that silver is going to go to $200 an ounce, or even $300 an ounce, or even higher. But I'm really not seeing articles for anybody that says that silver is going to go back down to $40 an ounce. No one's saying that it's going to go much lower. I think that the closest I've seen to that is that we've seen articles that this war in Iran has been bad for the silver and for the gold market, and I agree with that 100%. And now, as that starts to wind down, that's the single reason that the markets are actually up today. And this is just a glimpse of what's going to happen as soon as Donald Trump starts reeling in the troops and bringing them back home. Then this market's just going to skyrocket. So again, it goes back to patience. When you're patient, it pays off. And just one more thing about premiums. So once silver gets to the $120, $150 range, you're not going to be able to buy silver for $150 when you Google the price of 1 ounce of silver and it says 150. The premium is going to be probably $15 to $20 an ounce higher than that for a silver eagle. Other things might be cheaper, but that's going to be a normal premium. When silver gets to like 200 or 250, the premiums might be $25 or $30 an ounce for above spot to be able to buy one. That's how it's been for gold. I mean, gold can cost well over $100 an ounce for certain types of gold. So silver will eventually get there. So this goes back to getting in as low as you can. And right now it's quite low. The premiums are nothing compared to where they're going to be later. So it really always comes down to patience. Give your gold and silver 2 to 5 years minimum to let it run, and you'll be happy. And Bo and I run into all sorts of different clients that have purchased since 2021, or I should say they've invested since 2021, and they've been patient, and it's really paid off. And I just love to see it. And we're going to see them again in Tulsa for the Reawaken America reunion tour. And I can't wait to be there and talk with all the people, because I know they've done well.
Yeah, no, it's so true. Everywhere we go, all we do is have everybody, because we've talked about, having people understand the financial system. And again, precious metals are called precious for a reason. And we've been illustrating that in our talk about understanding why everybody needs to have some precious metals. In addition to having precious metals, remember, the system has confused how to own them. Because if you call your broker up, oh, sure, I'll get you precious metals, and so if you send him $1 or $1 million, he's going to stick it in the market for you, and he's going to buy you a stock ticker, which is a paper representation of silver and gold. So the system will buy you silver and gold in paper. And that's a fraud. It's a fake. It's fake silver. And it'll move. So these things, instruments, move with the price of silver and gold, which is great until the world finds out, when the truth comes out, that they've been created, that these are just representations. There is no real silver to back it. at a ratio of 1-to-1. Like there might be silver, but if you hypothecate it at even 10-to-1, there's only one person going to get and the 9 people don't get, okay? And it's way more than 1 to 10 right now, or 1 to 10. It's I don't even know what the numbers are, but I heard it's in the hundreds, okay? So the point is, the only way to own silver and gold is specifically to call up a broker or a coin dealer, and have them send you this right here. Okay. And the reason it costs on top of the price. So right now you could buy paper silver at spot, but it's paper. Okay. So you're buying a piece of paper, but this will cost you this plus a spread, because they're giving you the real thing. That makes sense? And so that's why people have 401ks and IRAs and all these, instruments. They can log into their accounts and think they're financially positioned, but they're financially positioned if you don't own gold and silver in everything paper. And so explain the difference between positioning yourself in a hard asset, whether it's in just holding it, or whether it's in a 401k or IRA investment accounts, or retirement accounts. But we've talked about it before, but we're just going to explain it in a different way again, just so viewers can understand. When you think you are financially positioned, but you don't own any precious metals, then you're truly not positioned in anything that's lasted thousands of years. And that's why it's important to understand the difference between paper and physical. Go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah, I get calls about that all the time, or emails, and I just tell people that your financial advisor is never going to show you how you can obtain physical gold and silver. The reason is that the firms like Goldman Sachs and Fidelity, they don't offer physical gold and silver because it doesn't trade on the centralized banking system, and the products that they offer specifically do trade on the centralized banking system. So they can't do it. So they're going to offer you paper gold and paper silver. Well, like Bo just said, there's an unlimited amount of paper silver available, and there's an unlimited amount of paper gold that's available. But what you had in your hand, there's a limited amount of silver that's available right now. And actually each day that we wake up, there's less silver in the world than there was the day before, because it's being consumed. And we've talked about solar panels. We've talked about silver being a conduit for those, and also for the batteries that power the data centers that make AI work. AI is like in its infancy right now. This is just the beginning of it. So imagine how many more data centers are going to come up that are going to be put up, and then they're going to need batteries that are going to be using silver as a conduit. I found out that silver is actually in a lot of the rockets and the missiles that we were firing at Iran as well, and the ones that they were firing at us. When those explode, that silver is being consumed. It's gone. It's done forever. So silver truly is precious. It's a precious metal, where paper silver is not. So it's a big, big difference. So when people have their retirement accounts, and you can have a 401k or an IRA somewhere else, it could be with Fidelity or any other IRA custodian, you can roll those over into precious metals IRAs, and they hold physical gold and silver that's stored in a third-party depository. The depository is safe, it's insured. Yeah, they have so many bars like that there. And if one day you wake up and you feel like the sky is falling and you want to have your silver sent to you directly, you can. In that situation, it would be a distribution, which does make it a taxable event. Keeping it in the depository is not a taxable event, and that's why we've literally helped thousands of people roll over their retirement accounts to do exactly that.
And it's a place. So you can go there, right? And you can see it, right, Andrew?
Yes.
It's a place. Go ahead.
They offer that. You can actually schedule a tour in Delaware. If you're a real cynic and you just said, like, I want to go there and I want to see the place, you can do that. Like I've had dinner with the owner of it, and over the years, the place has grown. They have multiple locations. They have one group of buildings that only hold silver eagles. They have one group of buildings that only has gold, and it's just a really fascinating organization. And we actually use them to store the bulk of our inventory, and they actually ship it for us to our clients when people make purchases. So it's actually a really, really great thing. But there's such a big difference between paper gold and paper silver, and I don't think that we can really give that information too much. I think it's something that we always should talk about, because you need to have physical gold and silver to help you in an emergency. If the power grid were to go down, most people out there, they're looking, their bank accounts are just, you can have a lot of zeros, but they're just digits on a screen. It's not going to help you if the power's out, but your gold or silver bars or coins absolutely will. So we love educating people on what the difference is, because your financial advisor, even if it's a good friend of yours, or if you've been with them for decades, they're not going to tell you the truth about it, because it doesn't benefit them.
Right. People develop in time, over time, relationships, right? So you have this relationship. Oh, I like my financial advisor. That's fine. You can like everybody, but when it comes to your financial position, it's not a matter of liking somebody. It's a matter of, I want my financial position, like personally, owning precious metals. That's how I sleep well at night. Okay. And everybody who's listened to us sleeps really well at night. Why? Because Haggai 2 verse 8 says, the silver is mine, the gold is mine, saith the Lord. So really what you've done is you've taken something that was created out of thin air, paper monetary instruments, and you've converted them. It's like you want to go to Europe. You take US dollars as an example. You go to the bank, you buy euros with it, and now you can go to Europe. Okay. You just created a transaction of you took one and swapped it for another. So now you take paper and you buy this. So now you have this stuff. Okay. No different than buying another currency. You just got this stuff instead, and then you can store it somewhere. That doesn't mean that you need to take your 401k and your IRA. Like, well, I don't know if I want to switch my whole 401k or my whole IRA. Like, do people do that, or do they just do? Some do all, some do some do pieces. Talk about that as well too, because there's like you have choices, right, Andrew?
Yeah, absolutely. So sometimes someone will reach out to us and they're really gung ho about silver, and they'll say, all right, I've got 200,000 in my IRA. I want to roll over all of it into silver. And we say, fine, we'll help you with that. And sometimes people are really, really cautious, and they'll say, well, I've got $200,000 in my 401k, but my partner they're not really on board with what I believe that gold and silver is going to do. So I want to be a little bit cautious. They'll do 50 or 75,000. And then what happens is a year might go by and they'll say, okay, I'm ready to do the rest of it. Or I've had wives and husbands that weren't on board that will reach out and say, okay, I'm finally ready. It worked good for my partner, and now I'm going to do it. And it happens that way all the time. One of the important things that I don't talk about enough in regards to the retirement accounts is that people out there that are retired, that are taking regular distributions, many of their first questions are, well, if I take like a monthly distribution, and if it's sitting in gold and silver, then explain to me, how does that work? Do you send me a check? Do you send me silver? Do you send me gold, or both? And if we talk to someone that say they're retired and they have 500,000 in their retirement account, and if they tell me that they take like $3,000 a month out of it, I'll just tell them, like, okay, great. Let's leave a year's worth of those $3,000 distributions in cash. We'll do the whole rest of it into gold and silver, and you can do distributions that way. And then they say, well, what happens after a year? Well, ideally, your gold and silver will be worth a little bit more than it was a year prior, and you just sell off a portion of it each month when you go to take a distribution. And they love that. We take care of all that for them. So you don't have to fill out all these forms online and then send them. And we take care of all that for you. We just send you a DocuSign where you just e-sign it down on the bottom, and we submit it for you. And it's a great, great service. But like, it really is set up real good. I had somebody recently, this is a good story about, somebody had $500,000 in their IRA. That's the balance of what they had in gold and silver. They signed up a couple of years ago. They started with 250. Very recently, it was worth more than double. So started with 250,000. It was worth more than 500,000. But this last week, silver's dropped a lot. So it's worth 500,000 now. He tells us, I want to cash the whole thing out. We say, sure, we'll help you with that. But before we give you the quote, like, what are you doing? And he's like, well, I want to move back into stocks. And I told him, like, this is the absolute worst time to get out of your silver position, because it was $15 an ounce like this time last week. I'm like, at least wait until it gets back up there. And he's like, oh, I really want to do stocks. And I'm like, okay, no problem. I'm not telling you that I'm not going to do it for you, but 50% of this is profit. So why don't you let that 250,000 profit ride? Just let it ride. Because if you sell everything now and then later you see silver hits $200 an ounce, you're not going to feel good. They're going to call that FOMO. It's like, you will not feel good. And he goes, oh, wow, I didn't think of that. I go, yeah. I mean, if you've ever sold a stock that you made a lot of money on, you keep watching it after you don't have it anymore. And if it keeps going up, you don't feel good. It almost never goes down because you were in something that was good. So I always tell people that.
That's a good point.
Yeah, if you want to get out of the whole thing, just let it ride. Let the profit ride.
Yeah, so actually he could get back in the market. That's a good example. He could get back in the market. He got back in the market with what he had in the first place, and he still got the same position on silver.
Yeah, and there's so many stories like that. It's like, for me, we buy and sell silver all day long. So like literally, if 100 people in a day want to sell us everything that we ever sold to them, no problem. I typically don't try to talk them out of selling it, but I was like, if you're going into the stock market, it doesn't make sense to sell it on such a big dip on silver unless you have an emergency in your family or a health emergency. Then it doesn't matter. That's what this is here for. It's an insurance policy, and ideally, if anything bad happens in your life, you have this there, and you can turn it liquid faster than selling a home or just about anything else out there. So that's what you want it for.
So again, like Andrew said, when silver gets to $200, okay, we talked last time, there are a bunch of articles out there that, even the mainstream media has talked about silver possibly getting to $300 an ounce. Okay, so Andrew and I, like, from a prophetic standpoint, I'm looking for $600 silver, okay? Now, I know these are crazy numbers, but my point is the direction. And that's just like the first stop, okay? Then I'm looking for bigger numbers, okay? My point is that whether it's 600 or mainstream media saying 250 to 300, we are in complete agreement across the board here on the direction it's going. That's my point, okay? And everything I've just stated is all 3 digits. And as I look, we're only at 75 right now, so we're only in 2 digits, okay? So that's the point I'm trying to say is metals are going up. Silver is going to outperform gold. That's why we've always looked at silver, because of the ratio. It's going to if you like gold, silver is going to outperform gold. That's the play. So if you like gold, great. Because if you like gold, silver is going to outperform whatever gold's going to do. That's what happened. Even look what happened in January. Like, it was crazy how silver explodes relative to gold. Gold's great, silver goes crazy. And so with all of that said, that's why I've used Andrew. I found Andrew through the Reawaken America tour several years ago, and we've been friends ever since. But the point I'm making is that I've actually bought tons from him, and specifically the one time my wife and I put a big order in at $18. Why? Because it was like the fire sale. And the point I'm trying to make is, from this, now we're at 75 today, going to 3 digits, going to stay above 3 digits, going to continue to go higher. And so it's just going to get more and more exciting. But with all of that said, position yourself and wait. Now, there are people out there that just cannot position themselves. They don't have the means. I get it, okay? That's why the numbers that are coming are going to be so big that those that have bought it will be blessed to be a blessing to all those around there. That's why my wife and I, we show up to these events, like Reawaken and all the other events. We're passing out silver to everybody. Like, we constantly are doing it, giving it away, because we're planting seeds in everybody. We want everybody to understand that something biblical is coming. It's coming. You can't stop what's coming. And so back to, again, position yourself and wait. So again, I use Andrew because he delivers extremely fast. Like, I've never seen anybody deliver faster than Andrew. Like, it's crazy. And more importantly, then I believe, and he can finish, we'll kind of wrap up, but Andrew's got an incredibly awesome from what I've gathered and what I've heard is your scenario for dealing with retirement accounts is next to none, right? Like you've got that dialed in, and that's why so many people actually use you for that as well too. And then wrap up on anything else you want to say and how people can reach you. And I'll also drop this book as well too, and you can talk about that as well, Andrew. So go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So like the way that we set up the retirement accounts is different than any other company because we have what's called an onboarding program. So we work with one specific IRA custodian. And the way we used to do it years ago is that we would email people the forms to be able to fill out in order to do a rollover. So that's moving your retirement account from where it is now to our custodian that we use. And it would take like weeks to get the account open. A good friend of both of ours, Clay Clark, it took 4 months for his to get open, which is just completely unacceptable. So I went to the company and said, hey, I believe in your company. I think you guys are the best, but we need to find some way to get these done quickly. So we created an onboarding program where if I'm on the phone with somebody right now and they say, I'd like to roll over a portion of my retirement account, I say, okay, hold on. I pull up a link. It's a calendar for the company Equity Trust that handles the IRAs. And I schedule an appointment with the client and someone over at the firm. It's usually a day or two later. At the end of that phone call, you have an open account with a phone number. Now, the next step is to fund that account. So Equity Trust will then reach out to your existing IRA custodian. You don't have to call them and tell them anything. So they reach out to them directly and arrange for the transfer to happen. And of course, they'll need signatures from you, e-signatures, in order to get that done. But we get these accounts open in about 7 to 10 days now. And there's almost no exceptions to that. And it's an absolutely wonderful program. You get to speak with real people. If you have questions, someone will answer your questions until you're comfortable. And, we mentioned earlier that sometimes people are friends with their financial advisors. I've had people say like, well, do I have to call my financial advisor? They've been a longtime friend and they're not going to be happy with me if I do this. Like, don't worry about it. We'll take care of it. And you don't have to call them and tell them that you're selling whatever they put you into years ago. So it's such a great process, and no other company's doing it. I every time I meet with the firm, they tell me it's only you guys. You guys are the only ones doing it, and I just think it's something really special. The next thing is the book right there. That's a book that Clay Clark and I worked on called Going for Gold. It covers a history of money and how it relates to gold and silver. It also has a history of precious metals and explains why precious metals always have been the world's currency and why it always will be the world's currency. It also breaks down the idea that we're going to be going to a digital payment system. It'll probably be like a tokenized system that works like cryptocurrency does. It'll probably be more like Ethereum or USDT, which is a Tether. And it might even be gold backed. If it is, owning physical gold and silver is going to be what it's based on. So if we go to a digital payment system, you're in on the ground floor.
You're in. Yeah, continue. Yeah, but you're in. So if you own precious metals, whatever happens in the future with this, what Andrew's saying, you're already in. And because you hold it, so you're in. And then however it plays out, however the pieces fall, you're in the moment you own precious metals. Continue.
Yeah, it's going to blast off when that happens, and we're definitely going to that because the days of us pulling out cash and coins, that's almost done. We've become very comfortable now with scanning to pay with our phones that are linked to our credit cards, but soon we're going to be able to do it where it's done like a cryptocurrency, like a token that trades on the blockchain. This is all happening. So you can scan that code right there, fill out the online form. You'll get a free digital download. We've had some people that have gone on Amazon and bought the book to receive a physical copy, but like the download's as good as anything, really. It's you can read it in less than 2 hours. I've had financial advisors and people that are full-time traders say, like, look, I knew a lot of what was in the book, but I did learn a lot. So if anything, it could really teach you about being patient when it comes to investing in gold and silver and what to expect and what to do once you have ordered it and received it. So I hope that people can scan it because it's really I've had a lot of compliments about how it's helped many people already.
So again, that QR code, and then your website is BH, right? BH is a dash and PM. Is that correct?
That's correct. .com. And schedule a consultation. Let us have a little chat with you about how gold and silver can help you protect everything that you've worked for. We're not going to try to bully you into doing a purchase at that time. If you're ready, then great, we'll help you with it. But it's more about getting the education necessary so that when you are ready to do it, that you're making a sound decision and not an emotional one. Because when you make emotional decisions when it comes to finance, you can make a mistake. And when you make mistakes, it can be quite costly. So we want you to be educated enough and have the proper amount of time to really know that you're making the right decision.
Precious metals are called precious for a reason. So I hope we've been, I really pray that we've done a great job explaining to everybody, the difference between paper and real stuff, okay? Real stuff. And financial advisors, as great as a job that they have been doing for you over the years, okay? We're stepping into new territory. Trump has spoken about a golden age, okay? Understand he's really meaning golden age. It's gonna tie in with gold. And that's why all the news media, no one's talking about lower prices like gold going down $1,000 or silver going down at 20 or 30. No, that's not even out there, okay? It's just they're not giving these large biblical projections that we are, or that I am at least, but it's regardless because they're going up and the direction's up. And so in closing, Andrew, if people want to find you, reach out to you, anything you want to wrap us up with, and thank you much.
Sure. So many people out there wish that they had invested when silver was $20 or $30 an ounce. Many people that did invest in silver when it was $20 and $30 an ounce have one regret, and that regret is always the same. It's like, I wish I bought more. And there's going to be a day when silver's $200 to $300 an ounce, and the people that are getting in when silver's in the $75 to $100 range, they're going to be glad that they have what they have. I mean, we're going to one day be talking about, wow, remember when silver was under $100 an ounce? There's going to be a day that comes when it's the final day. Silver will never be under $100 an ounce. We don't know when that day is. It'll probably be soon. So please reach out to us.
That's a great point. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. God bless you, Andrew, and everybody for listening. Amen and amen.
Beverly Hills Precious Metals Exchange is a client-focused firm devoted to assisting our clients with precious metals. Our clients range from first-time to serious coin collectors and investors seeking to add precious metals to their investment portfolios. We are not interested in volatile investments, leveraged products, and intangible assets. With rising inflation and the devaluing of the dollar hurting middle-class families, investing in gold and silver ensures protection for your hard-earned money. Save the value of your money today by investing in gold and silver at Beverly Hills Precious Metals.